So I've gathered up all of the votes and your comments from last week's episode, and it looks like you thought that Buffalo Springfield's track was a B tier and Joe Walsh's track was a A tier, which differs from mine. I thought it was an A tier for Joe Walsh and a not my cup of tea tier for the Buffalo Springfield song. I felt as if they were trying to use the psychedelic sounds of the late 60s, but it just didn't really land on me. I felt like the Joe Walsh track was far higher energy, it had attitude. I really loved the guitar work and the strange kind of distorted vocals that they were using on that. I thought it was fantastic. But what I thought was really interesting about the comments left from you guys was the fact that the guys who thought the Buffalo Springfield song was fantastic didn't really like the Rocky Mountain High track and vice versa. So it seems like the two tracks really existed in two separate styles of music, with a lot of fans being in either one corner or the other. I guess I'm part of the Joe Walsh crowd. Lastly, I wanted to highlight two different comments left by you guys, one of which was left by Jason, who says Joe Walsh is known as a bit of a wild guy. Glenn Fry, his bandmate in the Eagles, which I didn't know before, you guys let me know about his connection with the Eagles, said of him once, he's an interesting bunch of guys, which is hilarious. I guess he had a lot of personalities in one. And then secondly, I wanted to highlight Mr. Mason Gray, who said Bluebird is an A tier track. The combination of the bass line, sitar, harmonies and vibe was something the other bands chased after it came out, which I guess means it was a bit of a forward pushing track, forward thinking song. It was a revolutionary track at its time. It just didn't really land on me. But we have two new tracks for this week, so I'll leave a top comment as part of this video where you guys can leave your votes on the pinned comment that I'll leave for you guys. So here we go. Two new tracks. Here we are with the very first track. This one is sent in by Sean, who wants us to listen to Molly Hatchet, Dreams I'll Never See. Very interesting cover art on this one. I'm really not sure where I'm going to place this, as in like music wise. Looks like a metal band's cover. The artwork. Love that guitar line. Shaker. Seems like a song about losing someone that you love and essentially like having dreams where they still exist in your life. I think that's what he's referring to. And the idea that he needs to let go of these dreams because this person's out of his life. All in all, I think the story is cool, but the music is really where it's at. And the guy's voice, he's got a really, really powerful voice. I can't place his face. I thought he was a black guy, and then I'm looking at the picture of the band, and it looks like apparently not. Really powerful voice. I like it. Soulful. It's got a lot of kick to it, and then musically, I thought it's really cool. It's fantastic. It sounds great, especially that guitar line. Love the tone of that guitar. Rugged. Ooh. Really like the guitar work on this one. Switch up again. Second switch up in this instrumental. Third switch up. Okay. Wow. We just went into like a fever dream or something. Sounded like a horse. All right, very, very cool song. I did not know where the hell this song was going to go. Looking at the cover, I thought it was a metal band. A lot of metal bands, like I'm thinking of, what's the band? Megadeth. They have like cartoon-like illustrations in the front, which I thought the direction of it was going to go. It certainly sounds like southern rock music to me, at least. But in terms of its ranking, if I do this right here, okay, so in terms of the ranking, here it is. This is B tier for Sean's suggested track. It was a great listen. I think when you have a 7-minute song, though, you really need to earn the 7 minutes. You know, very few bands I think can pull it off. This sounds like it'd be a ton of fun to listen to live. But they took a jam session and almost made it into a song, which some people might think is the strength of the track. I think you have to earn those 7 minutes. I think a song can say what it needs to say in 4 or 5 minutes, and to stretch it out sometimes can be repetitive. And I think the track, in a sense, got a little bit repetitive. And also, I found what the story of the song was intriguing in the sense that the music kind of didn't match the sadness of the tale almost. Maybe it was trying to be hopeful in the fact that his dreams won't ever be seen again. That part of it was a little bit confusing. Regardless, you guys can leave your rankings for this one on the pinned comment and we'll compare it on the next one. Here we go into the next song. Here we go. Next up, we have Susan's suggested track. This is Rickie Lee Jones's Danny's All-Star Joint. Certainly not heard this artist before. Here we go.
Is nice, it stays in the back all day. But when the nighttime comes, hey, there's this cat down there that makes a bad kind of soup. I come around studying my luck in my shoot coop. Cecil gives me a coffee and he won't never take my coin. I say, got $30 in my pocket. What you doing? I holler, come on, Cecil, take a dollar. Come on, Cecil, take a 10. But I finally get up into a whole bunch of big ones and you're acting like I'm damn shit again. They know only on the riders on the boulevard. They got the barefoot cruise when it's 40 weight hard. They look particularly deadbeats, permanently pale. Cecil pick up his butcher knife and he waves it at the jail. And the kids say, I ain't got no dough, I just want some OJ. I said, don't look at me. Cecil's looking my way. Cecil waits upon him, some juice and some green, and the kid walks over and puts a quarter in the pinball machine, and he says, come on, Cecil, give me $1. Come on, Cecil, give me 5.
I'm trying to place the music. This sounds like a beat poet. I think that's what they were calling them in those times. They were like rhyming on this very idiosyncratic beat, which she seems to be doing over this, I think it's called a walking bass line. The style of music reminds me of some stuff that I've seen only in like old school documentaries of that style of music in the 40s. I can't place what the genre is called. It's not barbershop quartet, but it's those dudes that stand and they do this snapping thing, and one of them speaks. Very interesting song. I've not heard anything like this before.
Your hair turns gray. Sisters in a mustard, she loves to walk the puppy. Like pickles in the relish, she never gets enough. Hershey milkshake steaming on a stick, or a hard lamb sandwich. Oh, let us get sick. It's not because I'm dirty, it's not because I'm clean, it's not because I kiss the boys behind the magazines. Hey boys, how about the fight? Here comes Rickie with a girl on tight. She don't know your name, she knows what you got from your matchy ball to the chicken in the pot, chicken in the pot.
Is it just me? I really don't understand a lot of the references she's making. Maybe it's just my age, I'm not too sure. But she seemed to have been telling a story in the beginning part of the track, and she's kind of left that into another episode of this tale that she's telling, I think. But your sister's into mustard. She loves to walk the pop. She likes the pickles and the relish. She never gets enough. I'm not sure what she's talking about there. It sounds cool. It's got a certain rhyme scheme to it, which I think is interesting as a hip hop fan. But what she's talking about, I'm not sure.
Downstairs and get a start joint. Got it to box the good toy. Finger snapping delights make a bit about fapping your IV your head step. You can't break the rules until you know how to play the game. If you just want a little fun, you can listen to my name. Keep your feet in the street. The toes are on, but keep your business in your pocket. This is where it belongs. Come on.
Okay, what a interesting song. Okay, now I would need a hell of a lot of time to sit down and try and break down the lyrics of this thing, because I think what she was going for was almost a Dylan-esque type track. I think of a song like Mr. Tambourine Man, where every line is almost a vignette of its own, especially in the last verse, which was a really interesting one, where she had almost something to say, a story, a meaning, or a message in every line, or at least every two lines. One of the things that I caught was like this chorus here, especially, but honey, don't give it away if he don't appreciate it. Obviously, I feel like she's talking about, giving away your love, your body. She's giving advice to a girl there. There's sprinklings of kind of wisdom throughout this thing, sprinklings of really funny lines throughout this thing. But in terms of a first experience and listen, this is a whole new world, and I didn't quite get it. It didn't sit right with me. So what I've done is, here is the tier list. I've placed the track in not my cup of tea. I don't want to be like a super, what would be the word? Like Simon Cowell about this thing and be too harsh. But I try to be honest. It's not my cup of tea as of now. This kind of scat poet, beat poet kind of thing. It sounded very jazzy, had a walking bass line. Just wasn't for me. But interesting track. Very interesting, eye-opening one, certainly to a genre of music I've never heard before. So that's it. This will be the end of this video. You guys can leave your ratings down in the top comment, the pinned comment, and we can discuss what had happened, our ratings on the next video, and we'll compare and contrast it with each other. Okay, catch you guys in the next one.